Firefighters evacuated homes due to a brush fire in Granada Hills. No one was hurt and no homes were damaged. Parents at a Van Nuys school have been talking about an educational pamphlet regarding gun safety. Volunteers pitched in at the Los Angeles River for the annual cleanup.
This is Valley View News.
Hello and welcome to this week's Valley View News. I'm Lorena Mejia.
I'm Dianis Lopez Reyes. A 7.8 earthquake in Nepal has killed more than 4,000 people. Among those killed were 4 Americans in the Mount Everest region. Officials expect the death toll to go much higher. Rescue crews and aid groups were working to reach survivors, but the roads were clogged with traffic. The earthquake has left nearly 1 million children in need of humanitarian aid.
Flames spread through the San Fernando Valley as 2 brush fires broke out near the 12,000 block of Highwater Road. Valley View's Samantha Benitez reports.
10 homeowners in Granada Hills were evacuated when a wind-driven brush fire burned near their homes. The fire broke out in a suburban neighborhood about 20 miles northwest of downtown Los Angeles. CSUN graduate Ted Monet said he received a call this morning and rushed straight home to make sure his family was okay.
Well, my parents live across the street here, and my brother-in-law called me up. There was a bunch of smoke coming from this area, so he came through here. Happened to be a fire behind these homes, and somehow or another, from the wind and everything, the embers caught up the back of their backyard, basically the hill over there, and it's super dry. So that thing kind of lit up pretty quickly. So shot over here to try to get my dad out.
Around 200 firefighters used water-dropping helicopters to fight the bulk of the blaze in nearly an hour and a half before they beat back the flames and were able to send some units home. There are about 20 firefighters on the scene reportedly. No damage to any of the homes and no injuries sustained at this time. Reports say heavy flames were first spotted burning on a hillside near a mansion before a line of firefighters began spraying water to protect them. Granada Hills resident Jeff Whittings says he saw smoke and flames while driving on the 118 freeway.
I saw a big plume of smoke and knew that my in-laws live in the neighborhood, so I immediately drove over this way, check on my father-in-law who doesn't drive. It's what got me into the neighborhood, and here I am.
Fire officials reported they have the fire under control.
There's no movement in acreage on either of the 2 fires that we have going below the New Hope Pass in the Mission Granada Hills area. The good news, no injuries, no structures damaged. The cause of both under investigation and no final acreage figure.
In Granada Hills, I'm Samantha Benitez with Valley View News.
President Obama has not officially recognized the Armenian genocide. This follows the policy of past U.S. presidents. But during his presidential campaigns, Obama promised to use the word genocide. Other Western nations have recognized the genocide, and Pope Francis has taken a moral position in recognizing it. Historians estimate up to 1.5 million Armenians were killed in violence that many scholars view as genocide by Turkish forces. Turkey has always refused to acknowledge the killing as genocide, saying that the Armenians died as a result of conflict in World War I.
Thousands of people attended the funeral of Freddie Gray, who died of a spinal injury while he was in the custody of Baltimore police. Violence erupted on the streets of Baltimore after the funeral as protesters clashed with police. Maryland's governor declared a state of emergency and activated the National Guard. Many people arrived at the New Shiloh Baptist Church to pay final respects. A police report says that while Gray was transported in a police van, he did not get proper medical care. Meanwhile, Baltimore police say 7 officers were seriously injured in the violence following the funeral. They say there were reports of protesters setting small fires.
Stories about children and guns often end in tragedy. Ken Harvey reports on how an organization is working to prevent accidents.
Parents at Children's Community School are talking to their kids about guns. The Talk Project is a pamphlet created by the organization Women Against Gun Violence that gives families information to help start conversations.
It just opened up some great discussions, between me and my husband, and then we've had a couple little conversations with the girls, but it was really eye-opening for me. It had just never occurred to me to ask that question.
One of the questions she asked her 1st and 4th grade daughters was, what would you do if you see someone with a gun?
They're pretty clear on the fact that they're supposed to get out of there and let an adult know and, call me or whoever's house they're at.
A gun can be removed from a safe, loaded, and fired within 6 seconds. About 2 children die each week in unintentional shootings, and the Talk Project hopes to reduce that number. Children's Community School Director Neil Wrightson says just as students learn their ABCs, they should also learn about gun safety.
If you're talking about children wearing helmets when they ride bicycles, I mean, that's potentially a life-saving safety issue. And I think this is exactly the same thing.
WGAV spokesman Josh Stepikoff says his organization will send gun owners locks for free.
We just want to make sure that everyone's guns are stored safely. We're not encouraging anyone to get rid of their guns. We're just saying if you're going to have it, be smart, be safe, lock it up.
In Van Nuys, I'm Ken Harvey, Valley View News.
Loretta Lynch officially became the 83rd Attorney General of the United States and the first African-American woman to hold the post. Lynch was previously the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of New York. She succeeds Eric Holder, whose 6 years at the Justice Department were marked by a difficult relationship with Congress.
Assemblyman Mike Gatto wants to ease the carpool lane rules on parts of the 134 and 210 freeways. Valley View's Ashley Guzen reports that many Southern California residents like the idea.
Single occupancy drivers are now one step closer to veering into the carpool lane along 2 of Southern California's busiest freeways. Assembly Bill 210 proposes the establishment of a pilot project that would allow solo drivers to access high occupancy lanes, or HOV lanes, during non-peak hours on parts of the 210 and 134 freeways. California Assemblyman Mike Gatto, the man behind the bill, said in a press release, carpool lanes are intended to increase the capacities of our freeways when motorists are stuck in bumper-to-bumper traffic at midnight while carpool lanes sit empty. None of those goals are being met. It just doesn't make sense. Many freeways in Northern California have already adopted the flexible carpool lane law, which some residents here in Southern California think is a good idea.
I drive to school every single morning and there's usually no one in the carpool lane ever. And it would be really beneficial for me if I could use the carpool lane because I would be able to get to and from school a lot faster. It overall just be very beneficial.
According to a report by Caltrans, the lanes have been recorded as underused during times outside of rush hour.
That would just help out a lot because, there aren't enough lanes on the freeway and there's a lot of slow drivers who drive in the fast lanes, so just make it easier.
State legislatures originally passed the bill in 2013, but it was later vetoed at that time by Governor Jerry Brown. When the bill was first considered back in 2013, it was estimated that changing signs and creating more places to enter and exit the carpool lane will cost the state up to $360,000. The areas covered under Gatto's pilot program would include the 134 freeway from Studio City to Pasadena, including Burbank and Glendale, and the 210 freeway from Pasadena to Glendora, including the San Gabriel Valley communities of Monrovia, Duarte, and San Dimas. In Northridge, Ashley Goosen, Valley View News.
Bruce Jenner became an Olympic champion in the Summer Games of 1976 after he took the gold medal for the decathlon in Montreal. Recently, Jenner said that he considers himself a woman and that he struggled with his gender identity since he was a child. E! says it will air a new documentary series this summer about Bruce Jenner's transition from male to female. Fans are waiting to witness the transition of the former Olympian.
Coming up, we check the Clippers' performance in the playoffs.
Also, Valley View's Araceli Solis reports on a zip line that may be built in the Hollywood Hills.
We'll pass it over to Vanessa Escalera for your sports updates and the latest on the NBA and the NHL playoffs.
Thank you, Dianese. The playoffs bring out the best and worst in teams in all sports. 3 teams had no luck in the first round of the NBA playoffs. The New Orleans Pelicans, Boston Celtics, and Washington Wizards were swept in 4 games. In the Clippers' case, their Game 4 victory swings momentum to their side. Chris Paul led the way with 34 points and 7 assists. Blake Griffin added 20 points and 19 rebounds to record another double-double. Austin Rivers set a career high off the bench, scoring 16. The Calgary Flames have been good at answering challenges all season long. They now face a big one against the Anaheim Ducks in the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. The Flames made an impressive third-period comeback over the Vancouver Canucks that helped them clinch their first-round series. Calgary will open up their series against the Ducks at the Honda Center, where they've lost 20 games in a row. The Los Angeles Angels hosted the Texas Rangers and failed to complete the sweep. Texas jumped ahead over Rougned. Odor was hit by a pitch with bases loaded. Mike Trout tied things in the 7th after launching one into the rocks in left center. After tying the game in the 9th, Leonis Martin hit a game-winning home run in the 11th. Texas left Anaheim with a familiar face as they reacquired Josh Hamilton. He reportedly began using drugs and alcohol again in the off-season. Many people visit Runyon Canyon every day for its stunning views and hiking trails, but soon visitors might be able to choose between hiking or gliding through Runyon. Valley View News reporter Araceli Solis has more details on the proposed zipline project.
For many years, Runyon Canyon has been a popular place for tourists, locals, and their four-legged friends to go on a hike and enjoy amazing views. But soon, hiking might not be the only thing people can do there. Two local businessmen, Jeff Pruitt and Ryan Woods, are trying to bring a 2,900-foot zipline to Runyon. For $50, people will be able to glide down and drop 500 feet into the canyon. Some residents are concerned about the increased traffic they will bring.
I think ziplining sounds fun, but I don't want even more people up here. Sometimes you can't park at all. Like if I'm not on a bike, it can take like 30 minutes to find a place.
To help with the parking issues, Pruitt and Woods have also included in their proposal a shuttle that will take people from the Hollywood and Highland Center parking area to Runyon Canyon. Some visitors aren't thrilled about the idea and don't see themselves using the zip line very often.
I honestly don't think I would. I mean, I come here to hike, not really to use the zip line. It seems a bit unnecessary. It'd be a cool experience, but I frankly would rather hike the trail what it's meant to be used for.
But some of those who have ziplined before think gliding through Runyon Canyon would be a great idea.
Yeah, I'm down. I like zipline. I've done it before. It's pretty awesome.
The proposal is still in its infancy stage, and it will be a while before the neighborhood council can come to a decision.
The local businessmen trying to bring the zipline to Runyon say the project could generate as much as $8 million. If the proposal moves forward, they are planning on donating $700,000 to make improvements to Runyon Canyon. In Hollywood, Araceli Solis, Valley View News.
The bout between Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao is shaping up as the richest fight in boxing history. 5 sponsors of the highly anticipated bout have chipped in a record $13.2 million. That's about 4 times more than the previous record. Tickets for the fight sold out online in less than 1 minute. Many are being resold in the secondary market for up to $100,000 for a single seat. The bout is expected to bring in at least $400 million. Champion MMA fighter John Jones is the main suspect in a hit-and-run accident in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Jones allegedly fled the scene of the accident. Police say they found marijuana in what they believe to be Jones's rental car. Police reported that paperwork found inside the car belonged to a Jonathan Jones. The paperwork included MMA information and rental car paperwork from Enterprise. There were no serious injuries from the accident. Many people think the LA River is not much more than a concrete channel, but some people have been working to change that. Valley View's Dianese Lopez Reyes reports on a yearly river cleanup that has been attracting a lot of people.
Keeping clean the LA River hasn't been an easy task. For 26 years, the nonprofit organization Friends of Los Angeles River invites Angelinos to help clean up the river.
What we're doing in the city of Los Angeles is letting this river help our city get revitalized. So we really are interested in cleaning it, and the more you can show that it's a clean, natural river, the more people will appreciate it and realize that this city grew from this place and became a great city because of this river.
The Big River cleaning not only benefits the LA River, but gives children, parents, students, and other members of the community the opportunity to help the environment.
It's really important. It's pretty if it's not trashed. So it's one of our, resources here, one of our places that defines LA.
We're helping clean up whatever trash, big or small, to help out the river. It's interesting how people just throw stuff in, and there have been a lot of clothing items, and it's really just odd how no one really seems to care.
Hundreds of bags full of trash with different items were collected today at Los Angeles River. The LA River runs over 50 miles from the suburbs of the San Fernando Valley to the ocean in Long Beach. It flows through 14 cities and many neighborhoods.
In Northridge, if you threw a cigarette butt into the near the river over there, it's probably in here right now because that's how far it goes.
Fuller's annual work party includes live music performance, gift giveaways, family activities, and refreshments. Their first river cleanup was 30 volunteers working together in Los Feliz, but the event has grown. In Los Angeles, Dianis Lopez Reyes, Valley View News.
The Wimbledon Tennis Championship has banned the use of selfie sticks. This is not the first time the selfie portrait-taking devices are being prohibited. Museums, stadiums, and music festivals all across the world are banning the devices. A British newspaper, the Sunday Times, reports the selfie stick ban will help prevent any interference with other spectators' enjoyment. That's all for sports. Now back to Lorena and Dianis.
Up next, we see now a mural artist is making Pacoima a more colorful place and inviting others to join him.
We also take a look at President Obama's funnier side. Let's send it over to Araceli Solis, who has the latest scoop in entertainment.
Thank you, Lorena. Actor Sawyer Sweeten has died at the age of 19. Authorities say he died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Sweeten reportedly shot himself on a family member's front porch in Texas. He was best known for his role Jeffrey Barone in Everybody Loves Raymond, where he starred alongside his twin brother. The sheriff's office did not immediately release further details due to an ongoing investigation. Sweeten's family has asked for privacy and encourages people to reach out to their loved ones. Born to Act Players is a unique performing theater company for actors with disabilities. Oswald Judy talks to the owner who teaches the students.
Thank you. Today I have the founder and director of the Born to Act Players, Miss Mary Rings. Thank you so much for being here today.
I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
So tell me more about Born to Act Players.
Well, it's my acting company, and I've had it for 20 years. I have between 30 and 35 students and 10 assistants, 10 to 12 assistants, many of them professional actors, and my students have disabilities. They have a large range of disabilities. I started it 20 years ago because I have a son with Down syndrome, and I was an actress, and 2 different friends of mine said I should start an acting class for my son Casey and his friends, and I thought, well, this has to be from God. One of them offered me a space for free, 1 day a week, and another one offered to get me students. So that was the birth of it. It started with 8 students. I have 6 of my original 8 back in the company from 20 years ago. And we do all kinds of shows. We do Shakespeare, we do original shows, we do musical shows, we do improv shows. We did Our Town. It's the most fun you can have. It's absolutely amazing, the energy and the love. And my student has Down syndrome, but I have them with CP, Asperger's, seizure disorders, a lot of different types of disabilities. I now have a blind boy that just joined my group. We inspire people, you know, they've come so far, all kinds of prejudice like fear, you know, and not understanding them. They used to always be put into homes away from their real homes, and they are so delightful and talented, and they're working in the business in television and film. They're getting hired because they're talented, they're trained, they're confident.
So tell me more about the groups. Do you usually specify them for ages or other things?
Well, I have 3 different groups, and my group, the largest group, it's a 3-hour class, is my Born to Act Players, and they range in age roughly from, I would say, 17 to 45. And then I have a junior Born to Act Players that is, the youngest is 9. I have 2 9-year-olds, but mainly they're in late teens, early 20s. And then I have a new class that I have at DSALA, the Down Syndrome Association of Los Angeles, for little ones, and they're from 5 to 12. I know we're giving hope, and what better thing can you give? You know, these are God's children, and well, you saw they're so happy to be there, aren't they? And they're expressive and lovely, and they're talented, they're smart, and I feel very honored to be able to work with them. A lot of times we've seen such changes in them, huge changes, you know, like they come and they're quiet or they're self-conscious, and then all of a sudden they're turning into this fierce, you know, amazing actor.
It is a life-changing experience. So tell me, how often do you have shows with the students that you have?
We have shows twice a year. And the rest of the time we're having a class, and it's just fun. We do improv every week also, but 2 shows a year keeps us busy, you know, because we only meet once a week. I've done so much theater, you know, and you rehearse 5 nights a week, you know, from 7 to 10, but we only rehearse once a week. So to put a show up, it takes a little time, but it's so worth it.
So thank you so much for coming here. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you're so sweet. God bless you. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Back to you guys in the studio.
President Barack Obama used the annual White House Correspondents' Dinner to show off his sense of humor. The commander-in-chief also brought out his anger translator, Luther, to help get his point across and unload some of his frustrations.
In our fast-changing world, traditions like the White House Correspondents' Dinner are important. I mean, really? What is this dinner? And why am I required to come to it?
The president also threw out comedic punches at Hillary Clinton, Dick Cheney, and Joe Biden. Artists usually take ownerships of their creation, but a painter in Pacoima doesn't see his work that way. Valley View reporter Lorena Mejia visited the muralist and his many helpers.
Poverty affects many people all over Los Angeles, which makes it difficult to find artistic resources. Neighborhoods like Pacoima don't have schools or museums for local artists, but they do what they can with what they have. Artists like Levi Ponce have slowly transformed the neighborhood with art, giving everyone a chance to paint with him.
We find a location that needs some love, and we come and give it some tender love and care with plenty of volunteers that are working for no money. They're just here because they want to see an improvement in their community.
He also brings together those who would most likely not come in contact with each other on a daily basis. Volunteers such as graffiti artists, known as taggers, usually help and later watch out for any other taggers looking to vandalize the art.
You got kids, you got taggers, and if you don't got taggers, you might have their mom out here, you might have their cousin out here, and why would you destroy something beautiful that you helped create?
Residents of Pacoima say they like the art, and it's a great change for the neighborhood.
Instead of all of that, graffiti and things like that, I mean, this looks nice and people will like it. Kids love it.
Artists like Levi have cheered up the streets that were once notorious for their violence. There has been more diversity, tolerance, and free expression, which have helped lower crime rates.
It's very, very nice, and I couldn't be prouder to see Pacoima in a positive light. And I hope it keeps happening because we have nothing but good people here.
People have come together to create pieces of art like this and have plans to continue adding a little more color for a brighter future. In Pacoima, I'm Lorena Mejia, Valley View News.
Stars came out in Burbank to celebrate the 42nd Daytime Emmy Awards. The show was hosted by supermodel Tyra Banks. The former Victoria's Secret angel showed off her new pixie cut hairdo at the awards show. Betty White received a Lifetime Achievement Award. She's 93 years old. Many were surprised when NBC's Days of Our Lives and CBS's The Young and the Restless tied for Outstanding Drama Series. The Brewery Arts Complex in Los Angeles is both a home and workplace for hundreds of artists. Valley View reporter Oswald Judy tells us more about it.
More than 500 artists opened their homes to the public and allowed them to browse and buy their artwork. The Live and Work Colony opened its door for free twice a year. In its opening day, thousands of visitors attended the world's largest art complex from all over the nation.
This is a major event. There are about 300 studios, about 100 of them are open. I understand this is the largest art colony in the country, maybe in the world. There are people from every part of the earth, of any age, any discipline. It's really a mix of people that makes it very wonderful and fun.
Meeting the artists in their own studios and talking with them about their work is what makes the experience so interesting.
Being in someone's studio, I feel like it's just so different from just being in the art gallery, because in a way we kind of get to kind of almost feel like their creative energy is flowing through, like their inspiration. You can just almost see it in the walls sometimes, way beyond just the picture itself.
Artists create different types of artwork, from painting and sculpture to photography and architecture. Each artist sends a message through their work.
A lot of my work has to do with culture and people's basic misunderstanding of culture, A lot of my work involves language, and particularly, non-English language.
Having diverse artists in one place is what makes the Brewery Art Walk remarkable. From downtown Los Angeles, Adwa Al-Judi, Valley View News.
That's a wrap for entertainment. Now back to Lorena and Dayanis.
That's all for this edition of Valley View News. I'm Lorena Mejia.
I'm Dayanis Lopez Reyes. Have a great rest of your week.